Hi, this is Gwen Peterson. I'm a certified health coach with Optavia, and this video may be a little longer than normal, but I've had a couple of my new clients ask me to make a video for all the people that follow me on my channel to let you know kind of what's been going on with me, my health, my daughter's health, just so that you get a glimpse of who I am in real life instead of just my videos. So as you may have seen in my past videos, when I first started coaching 4 years ago, so that was, or I actually started the program June 2013. I started the program at 181 pounds, and I lost 45 pounds in 4.5 months and got down to 136. And then literally the moment I hit 136 pounds, I ended up getting shingles on my eyeball due to two eye injuries that were back to back. I went blind, steroids, put 11 pounds on my body in a weekend, and then through the course of all the treatments to get my eyesight back, I ended up gaining 26 pounds immediately and getting to go back on program on the 5 and 1 to lose the weight while I had also become a health coach. Well, over then the next, I guess I'd say 3.5 years, I've done a really pretty decent job of keeping a majority of my weight off using the tools that I have learned. And, there have been some times that I've gained a little bit here or there, but never coming close to even gaining back half of my weight. So, kind of played around in a 15-pound window when I wanted to be really focused. But when over the summer I did pretty good. So what is today? Today's January 29th. And I did pretty good over the summer, just, coaching a lot of people, doing my thing, drinking a little too much Diet Coke. But again, you can drink Diet Coke if you drink water, a lot of water. But basically, then some interesting stuff happened with my 8-year-old daughter. So for those of you guys that follow me on Facebook, you know everything that has gone on with my daughter. But for those of you that don't, wanted to kind of tell you what the life of a coach really ends up looking like. So for me, yes, I have 3 kids. I have a 15-year-old daughter, then I have a 10-year-old son. Oh, I guess he just turned 11, and then an 8-year-old daughter. And my 8-year-old daughter has, over the last 4 years, struggled randomly with constipation. That's why I have a good constipation and gas video, because of all the experience I've had with the gastroenterologist trying to figure out why she was dealing with that. Well, in the midst of all of this, she has also suffered from random urinary tract infections. So over the summer, she was having these random, again, because I'm good at knowing how to handle constipation, I was kept her pretty good on not dealing with constipation, but she would randomly have these painful bowel movements, but they were soft stools. So I knew something was going wrong. And once it started to affect, right before school started, I'm like, I'm going to be the good mom, throw a bunch of probiotics in her to make sure she's doing good, and all of that. Well, once school started at the beginning of, or the end of August, she twice a week would call me going, Mom, my stomach hurts. You need to come pick me up. Come home, have this painful bowel movement that was not constipation at all. And 2 hours later, she'd be good and I could take her back to school. So I scheduled a doctor's appointment for September 5th. That's our D-Day, with our primary care to just start kind of trying to figure out what was going on. But instead, we ended up at the primary care with 103 fever and a kidney infection, that the kidney infection did not go away with a round of Bactrim, which it has in the past. So then that fast-tracked us, weirdly enough, how God has a plan and gets you in the way you need to. We ended up in with the gastroenterologist and a urologist here in Utah Primary Children's Hospital. And the gastroenterologist figured out that she had a parasite in her digestive tract. And we figured it out that here in Utah, we have regular water and secondary water that's not filtered, that you water the lawn with. And 4 years ago, she'd gotten really sick from drinking all day out of the secondary water, but it ended up with a parasite in her digestive tract. Anyone sounding a little like Grey's Anatomy or House? Anyway, and then the urologist, through multiple tests, figured out that she had stage 4 kidney reflux and her bladder was backing up into her kidneys. So this child was having the perfect storm. So I was doing fairly good, eating on plan. I was not eating on plan, because was not really in the weight loss phase, just keeping my health in check and trying to do good on my water, trying to eat balanced every 3 hours. But once you have this kid that's pretty sick, life starts to happen, and all those habits that you know are what becomes sometimes your reality, even as a health coach, having coached over 600 people in the last 4 years. So once the gastroenterologist determined there was that parasite, they threw us, well, we were already in a second round of antibiotics for the kidney infection, heavier dose. Then they threw in a hardcore antibiotic to kill the parasite. What happened was she couldn't hold down liquid. She was starting to shut down, and we had her in the ER every 2 to 3 days to be rehydrated, pain medication, and her urine was thick yellow because there was no hydration. And at the end of that antibiotic, 2 days later, she started throwing up blood. It produced a emergency scope, and they diagnosed her with celiac and a dairy allergy. Well, I swear it was almost like God had put the health coaching track in my past to be able to understand a lot of this nutritional situation that we were dealing with her, along with her having a urinary tract surgery to rebuild her ureters so she wouldn't back up into her kidneys. So I help her eat clean. She's 8, so can't really help her keep balance going, but understanding how to remove gluten and dairy out of the digestive tract, that was a no-brainer. But of course, this is a kid that's lived on macaroni and ramen noodles, and I've done my best to put protein in this kid. Fast forward 8 weeks later, she is not any better. She's now down 15 pounds in 11 weeks, and we're not getting anywhere. So I get with the allergist. The allergist runs test after test after test. They figure out that it was just her gut health. She wasn't even celiac, didn't even carry the celiac gene. And so we were repairing the damage from the kidney infections and antibiotics and that parasite. And the gastroenterologist wanted to go the route of just dump a bunch of antacids in her, because what was happening is every night she was buckled over in pain. And this is where my story starts kicking in. Kid is buckling over in pain constantly. We're doing everything nutritionally possible. After a stool sample, they figure out that her digestive enzymes are non-existent and her stomach acid is through the roof. So you take an adult that has acid reflux, and at night it starts to flare up. They swear they're having a heart attack. They're downing all these antacids. Well, that's what was happening in my 8-year-old stomach down low. And here I am up till 1, 2, 3 a.m. Now, if you guys have read Dr. A's Habits of Health, all about sleep, you're well aware that when you don't get enough sleep, your body does not release a hormone that's an appetite suppressant. That, along with all of these ER visits, surgery, a child in pain all night long till she finally passes out asleep because she just can't stay awake even through the pain. That has been my life. Now, luckily, I have a lot of really great people in my world who counseled me to work with some alternative medicine, because you don't dump antacids in an 8-year-old for the rest of their life. You work on repairing the gut health. So I have worked with a lot of different people. We've worked with essential oils, different enzymes. Every MLM friend I have has given me their product. We've worked on it a couple weeks, and we are slowly repairing the gut health. Well, we had her in a great place over Christmas break. The gastroenterologist wanted to rescope her, which I agreed with, to make sure that her villi were growing back after the damage of the parasite. The good news is her villi were growing back, and that is good that we're repairing the gut health. The negative is what it takes to clear out the digestive system to do a full scope from top to bottom completely wiped all the gut health that we'd been creating, and we were back at square one, and I had a sick kid 24 hours a day. So what I can tell you through this is that one of the points that I left my house, and by the way, we are making a ton of progress. She's still not back in school. We are on home hospital where her teacher comes in twice a week. Luckily, she's a smart kid. She's still at the top of her class, but it's taken an emotional toll and a physical toll on her along with us. And in all of these ER visits, this one time my mom says to me as I'm walking out the door, now my mom is a health coach with me. She lost 60 pounds in 5 months and has kept it off. She says to me, well, are you going to take a bunch of bars in case they keep you overnight and all of that? And I finally said to her, I said, you know, Mom, I'm in one of the most traumatic experiences of my life, and I would never, ever expect one of my clients with this length of a traumatic situation be able to stay 100% balance and eating good. The reality is you do the best you can with the situation and knowledge that you have, and you have your times and your seasons. So over this, 5-month stretch from September 5th to now, or New Year's, that's what I guess we're looking at. It was a full 4 months before New Year's Day. And in 4 months, I have put on 40 pounds through the stress of everything that has gone on. And I'm a real person before being a health coach. And that doesn't mean that I haven't helped a ton of clients through this process during my traumatic experience. And it's almost been this amazing God-given gift that clients kept coming to me, and I got to serve others during my struggle because it kept keeping me planting those seeds for my health, reminding me, you know what, I don't, right now I'm not being perfect, but I'm getting 3 or 4 fuelings in a day. Yeah, at 2 a.m, was I going down to the hospital and getting a piece of cheesecake during all of these hospital visits? Yes, but I was doing the best that I could. Now, finally, and I don't know how many of you guys know that one of my favorite personal development people and one of my good friends is, okay, let's see, I don't know if you can see this, is Dave Blanchard. And this book is called Today I Begin a New Life. And Dave and I have worked very closely to learn how to just get out of my own way and learn to be a better coach to my clients and my coaches. And one of the things that I decided in December was I got to get my brain healthy before I got dialed in on the food, because I'm still up till 2 or 3 in the morning a majority of the nights. And one of the things Dave talks about in his book is we all have negative thought processes, and we get to a point where we say, and he talks about bringing out your arm like a tomahawk and saying, I'm not going there today. And you choose to stop those negative thought processes. So that's where I started in the month of December, is getting out of almost a victim mode, a legitimate victim mode over my child, who we really still don't have all the answers, but we are making progress. And I have whole faith that we are making progress. All the right people keep coming in my path to give us what we need when we need it for her health, and we are making strides. But at the same time, I got to get out of the fact that, yeah, it's hard. I'm up late at night. I'm getting up early with my other kids. I have 2 other kids. I have a husband. I have a life aside from this sick child. And so at that point, that's where January 1st, I pulled out my tomahawk and decided I'm not going there today. And so I'm happy to report that I am down 11 pounds in 4 weeks, and I am still in the weight loss process. So I just wanted to kind of let you all know that follow me, that don't really know my current story, is that life happens to all of us. And just because we are a coach does not mean that we don't have old habits and thought processes that will override when we are having life hitting us. Now, realistically, do most coaches have life hit at this level? Sometimes. Sometimes they have a parent that dies, or a spouse that dies, heaven forbid, or health things happen. But the reality is if I hadn't become a coach and learned the tools of how to fix this, and I understood that December was my month of fixing this and doing what I teach all of you guys, of listening to the podcast, doing the workbooks, and getting into a healthy space, that's where I got to start before I finally pulled out my tomahawk on the 1st of January and decided I was not going there anymore. And I feel phenomenal. Am I 100% on my water, my sleep? I am getting all my fuelings in. I'm not doing the greatest on weighing out my protein, but I'm course correcting. And so knowing that I lost 11 pounds this month with not being 100% dialed in, that's my challenge in month 2, is I have a Disneyland trip. We have all sorts of stuff, but I'm not going there. And I want my optimal health back. And so I get to be just like my clients in the trenches, doing the daily, hourly work to choose my health and my health progression over my life situation. So I just want to challenge any of you that are watching this, that are just trying to decide if Optavia is your answer, or if you've done Optavia in the past, or Take Shape for Life or Medifast, and aren't sure if this is right for you, especially because I've gained some of my weight back. Let me tell you, there is no end-all be-all diet out there that you will keep your weight off forever, because you get to make the choices every hour, every 3 hours, every day, every week, every month to choose eating healthy. There is no diet out there that will allow you to lose your weight and then go back to eating handfuls of fish crackers all day long, or Twinkies or brownies, or going through the drive-through. That's not the diet's problem that you gained your weight back. It's your old habits coming back in. So just to tell you, I ended up having the pleasure of helping 10 new clients in the month of January start their health journey. And as you can see, this is what brings me joy in the muck of all this stuff with my daughter. And so I am just moving forward. And so if you're watching this video and realizing I am real, I will be in the trenches with you, making the choices every hour of every day to move forward and get to where I want to be by the time we leave for Mexico the beginning of April. Again, it's a journey. It's not a sprint. And this has been my time, my season of getting to focus on my child, doing the darn best I could with what I was dealing with no sleep, a child very sick, and me just not feeling good a majority of the time because I wasn't having the energy to take care of myself. So that's where I am. I hope this video spoke to you. And if you are following my stories or my videos because you are in the weight loss phase of our program, I would love you to throw in the comments where you are in your journey and where you hope to go. And together we will all accomplish more. Hope you enjoyed my story and that I'm back in the trenches with you and thrilled to be a part of this with you. Bye.